Alright guys, today we are doing beef bone broth. It's going to be a little different than how I usually do my bone broth because a lot of the times I load this down with vegetables. But I don't have the vegetables on hand, and quite honestly I wasn't planning on doing beef bone broth. But my best friend gave me some beef marrow bone. Two big, let's see, this is 4.6 pounds and 6 pounds. So 11 pounds of soup bones, and I had absolutely no room in my freezer to put them in there. So I had to thaw them out, and so we're making, well, we're starting the bone broth. I let mine go for at least 2 days. So it's going to be on the stove for a while, which gives me time to do all the rest of my stuff because there's tomatoes thawing out right there. Those are going in the dehydrator. I have more potatoes. I have a lot of stuff. Let's just put it that way. So I'm going, again, doing it a little different. The other thing I'm doing different besides, here baby, with that. Besides only putting a couple types of vegetables, I'm just doing carrots, apple cider vinegar, and onions, and garlic. That's it. I'm not putting celery or anything else. Yeah. So, let me get, oh, I'm so scatterbrained today. The other thing I'm not doing is I'm not going to bake these off first. Usually, well, not usually, any other time I've done beef bone broth, I have baked them, roasted them, and let them get good and brown, usually for about an hour, and it just helps get the nutrients out of the bones quicker, and it also helps you get some of the fat off before it goes in the pot, but I'm not worried about that. Oh, awesome. Okay, so what I have marrow bone, and I have feet. Sweet. Well, that is awesome. That is the, if you could find that in the store, or I've never seen it in the store, but if you could find that in the store or at a butcher or when you do your own, get the hoof. Well, it's the, it's not the hoof. It's what's above the hoof. But you want that. That has so much nutrients in it. That makes me super excited. And we also have a neck bone that I was actually just gifted, and it is still frozen, to put in here as well. We're just putting everything in here today. And then we'll fill it with water, and we're gonna let this thing go. So let me show you the rest of the ingredients, and then I'll put the neck bone in. So I have carrots. They're too big. I mean, these things are monsters. I can't even get my hand around them all the way. But I'm going to put some of these in here, and the rest are going to go in with my chicken stock that I was planning on doing, and now we'll have to do alongside this. Alright, so I have the neck bone in there, and that is still frozen. It's actually a bunch of little pieces. I have 3 onions. I'm putting in, so I guess I lied, I am putting in something else. I'm putting in some bay. That was probably 5-ish, it looked like. Small leaves, they aren't large. Woo! Did you see that catch? Let's see, apple cider vinegar with the mother. And that, for this amount, that was probably a ½ cup, which is plenty. And you won't taste it. Some salt. And that was sea salt. You want to use a non-iodized salt. If you're going to use salt, because you are going to be canning this. I mean, you could always freeze it if you wanted, but I am canning mine. So I do want non-iodized salt, and then we have garlic. Can't forget the garlic, which I almost did. And this is about a half a clove, and it goes. And you don't have to worry about the skins and stuff because you're going to strain all this out. Now, all I'm going to do is fill this up with water till about right here. This is my 20-quart stock pot, and this beast is full. And then I'm just going to let this go low and slow. You want a super low simmer. Nothing high heat. You could bring it up to a boil and then let it go down to a simmer, but just a simmer. And you want to do it for a long time, at least 24 hours. But if you could go further, it's just going to get that much better for you. And with this many bones, I could probably do a second batch with the bones as well, which I will probably do because this is a massive amount. And I really don't want to waste anything. So what I'll probably end up doing is fill this up, get a batch out of it, and then put the bones in more water and just do a straight bone broth, and it'll be a lot lighter, obviously. But I think there's enough bones in here to do it twice. So I will see you back in a couple days when this is done doing its thing. Alright, so this is actually day 3 of our beef broth. It went for over 48 hours. I'm not sure on the exact time, but it was over, oh, come here. It was over 48 hours. Now, my girls broke my fat separator, so I couldn't just straight up can it because it did have a lot of fat. What I did do, and I'll show you, is I let it cool a little bit just on the stove. I turned it off and let it cool so that the fat would come up to the surface. Now, I already have 2 pints of fat, and that I put in the fridge, and I'm using that for cooking. It is perfectly good for cooking. It's not pure. It will have a slight beefy flavor, but you can't waste that, and it is just so good to use in cooking. The rest of it, once I skimmed off 2 pints worth of fat, I put in these 3 bowls and let them chill overnight, and now I can get the rest of that fat off. So now I'm going to save that too, and that's going in a 3rd pint. And then the rest is going to come in here, and we'll get to heating it back up and canning it, because we need to start some chicken broth. I already have it thawing out and ready to go. Alright, so I got almost a pint of more fat. Now this does have some broth in it, and what I'm going to do is melt it down so that I can separate, because there's also some sediment in it. And I think I'm going to use this as the lard for a pie crust. Savory, because it is going to have the beef flavor, but I think I'm going to make a lamb pot pie and use this as the pie crust. I think it will be amazing. So this is going to stay separated from my other tallow. Now, this stuff, oh my goodness, it smells so good. But look at how it sat on the fridge, sat on the counter for a little while. But you can see it is jelly, and that is exactly how you want it. You want, oh man, you want all of that collagen and vitamins, minerals, all the good stuff. This is going to be so good, and so good for you. You can see it's all jelly. Try not to make a mess. and you can see some of the sediment. I'm not gonna scrape that out because we don't need that. That's something that I would leave at the bottom of this pot anyway once it heats back up. So I'm just saving a step and not putting it back in. Now, those two were from the first batch. I did because I felt like even after the 2 days that the bones still had a little bit left to give. So I filled it up, not all the way full, but just to cover the bones with some more water and let it go for another 12 hours. And this is the outcome of that. Now, it's almost as dark, but it is not jellied. But that's fine. It's going to add, it's still going to have the flavor. I tasted it. It tastes great. And that was another, you know, few quarts that we wouldn't have gotten. And I'm going to leave that. We don't need that. Now, this is going to heat back up on the stove. Also, there is a little bit of fat left. I'm not worried about that. There you go. A little bit of fat remnants. That's not going to hurt anything. If you wanted a really pure broth, you could strain this through a mesh strainer and go through all that work. And I've done it, but honestly, that's just flavor. And this little bit is not going to do anything to the outcome of your canning. So we're going to heat it back up on the stove. And while this is going, I'm going to clean some jars. We are doing quarts today. I already have some pints that I did a while back. So we're going to do quarts. And yeah, we're going to get everything set up and ready to go. And I'll bring it back when we're filling up jars. We have a lot of canning going on today. Alright, so I heated up my broth and now I'm using hot jars. I have my canner also heating up. It's not going to be hot because I want to make sure it stays at a good temperature, just a warm, like bath water type temperature until all my jars are in there. I don't want to shock anything. And just look at how rich this broth is. And I did it a little different. I only added some of the vegetables that I usually add, and it just turned out just so good. I can't say it enough. It turned out so good. Now, we want 1 inch of headspace. And if you have sediment, that's going to settle at the bottom. The fat will rise to the top. The sediment will be at the bottom. That way, once you open your jar, if you don't want the fat, you can just take it off with a spoon. And if you don't want the sediment, then don't pour the very last like teaspoon out of your jar. It's pretty easy. Just because I don't have a strainer right now. I just want to cry. But so here it is. Is that not beautiful? Now, we're going to wipe the rim of our jar, inspect it one last time to make sure there are no nicks or anything on there that could cause our jar to fail. And then, since we are doing quart jars, for my altitude, it is 10 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. And again, that is for quarts. And we're going to see how many quarts we can get. So stay tuned, and I will show you the end result. Alright, so in the hustle and bustle of everything, I forgot to shoot an ending to my beef broth. So, I ended up getting 10 quarts of this beautiful, rich beef broth. I mean, this stuff is seriously the best. And all of the jars sealed. It's just, I cannot wait to use this. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time for my chicken broth, because that is the video that will be coming out directly after this one. Thanks for watching.